This week, I take on Canada's airline battle, the legacy versus the new kid on the block. One has fancy seats, the other has free banana bread. It's Air Canada versus Porter in a fight for the skies. But which one gets it right? It's time to find out. You know, last time I flew on Air Canada, they were pretty dreadful actually. Didn't have a great time. Hopefully today will be a little bit better because today I'm taking Air Canada from here in Houston all the way up to Montreal, Canada. Let's go. First step today then to security. And it was pretty busy this morning. You know, most of the time TSA pre-check is an absolute convenience and it's like the best thing I've ever done. There's only one time when it's not, and that's when you come through Terminal A here at Houston, because it's not the best. They only seem to have one lane open half the time, and at this time of the morning, everybody is pretty much pre-checked. So never mind. We spent a bit of time there, but at least I didn't have to take my shoes off. All right, there is my ride across to Montreal today. It's an Airbus A220. If you've been watching this channel a while, you'll know that the A220 is my favourite short-haul plane. Never been on one with Air Canada though, and they aren't my favourite airline. So yeah, let's see what it's like when we get on board this thing. If we actually leave on time, fingers crossed we may actually be on time today, which would be nice. Last time we had like a 6-hour delay or something with Air Canada.
And we'll now begin our trolley boarding process. We will now let you wait for to proceed in zone 1 to board the aircraft.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm very well.
Welcome on board, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Air Canada's A220 business class is a surprisingly pleasant space. You've got a spacious 2-2 layout with wide comfy seats, massive entertainment screens and even a bottle of water waiting for you at the seat, which honestly these days feels like a small luxury. The cabin feels fresh and modern with huge overhead bins, loads of natural light and that signature new plane smell. It's kind of impressive. And with the air bridge gone, there's no turning back. We're off into the wild Canadian yonder, or at least to Montreal. I've got a comfy seat, a bottle of water and surprisingly high hopes. Let's see if Air Canada can keep the good vibes rolling past the runway. My route for my first flight then took me north out of Houston towards Montreal in Canada. Flight time for this leg 3 hours and 18 minutes, cruising at 35,000 feet. Alright then, we are airborne from Houston heading to Montreal, Canada on the Air Canada A220. I have to say, this is actually quite a nice plane to ride on. I love the A220 anyway. It is my favourite short-haul plane. It's such a lovely little plane to ride on. But the business class here on Air Canada is flipping nice. It's a 2-2 config. You've got these beautiful big TV screens in front of you as well. Plenty of leg room. For a small jet, this is a really, really nice config. The Inflight entertainment system is actually really solid, a decent mix of movies and TV shows plus a few Canadian news channels just in case you suddenly feel the urge to catch up on some Saskatchewan politics at 35,000 feet. The touchscreen's quick and responsive with an interface that actually makes sense, which for airline tech is saying something. And then there's the flight map, the true AvGeek treasure trove. It's detailed, it's smooth, and it lets you zoom pan and track your flight like you're the one flying it. Honestly, I could watch this for hours, and actually I did. There's a USB outlet and a 3-pin plug just in case you want to charge your devices as well while you're on the flight. Right then, so breakfast time, and seeing as though I'm going to the bit of Canada where they speak French, I've decided to go for the French toast. Oh, oui, oui, oui. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, heavens above, that is lovely. Oh, that's amazing. I'm really glad I went for that. Comes with like cream and stuff as well, just beautiful. Really good. Oh, bonnet de douche. This is lovely. Really nice. It's funny, isn't it? When you fly a lot, you start to notice the little things, like the way a cabin feels more peaceful when the lighting's just right, or how a quiet crew can make the whole flight feel more relaxed. This A220 surprised me. It's not flashy, but it's modern, quiet, and well thought out. It kind of reminds me why I love this plane in the first place. For For all the flack Air Canada gets, and some of it definitely earned in my experience, this flight, well, it just worked. Comfortable, calm, even kind of enjoyable. It's not groundbreaking, but sometimes a flight just being good is enough. It's weird, after so many disappointing flights, I was starting to wonder if Air Canada just works better when you expect the worst. But then again, maybe that's true for a lot of airlines. Set your expectations low and you might just be pleasantly surprised. Alright then, started our descent down into Montreal in Canada. We should be on the ground in the next few minutes. As we descended into Montreal, I was still kind of processing how smooth this flight had been. The seat was comfortable, the service surprisingly solid, and the French toast, genuinely one of the best airline breakfasts I've had in quite a while. At just under $700 one way in business class, it's not exactly cheap, but for a quiet, comfy ride across the border, well, I can't complain really. Oh, and we even landed 15 minutes early. I know, it's Air Canada, I'm just as confused as you are.
Des bienvenus à Montréal, les présentement 12h50 enregistrés, sauf s'il y a une agence pour voyager aujourd'hui.
Merci beaucoup, bye bye, thank you. Au revoir, merci, à la prochaine.
Now for me at least, Canadian customs is usually an absolute nightmare, slow, unfriendly and staffed by officers who seem personally offended that you dare to try and enter their country. But today, straight through a machine, no questions, no glaring and no attitude. I honestly thought I'd landed in the wrong country. Hello, welcome to Montreal, Canada. That was quite a nice flight up actually with Air Canada, I actually quite enjoyed that. Now, while Air Canada might have landed me in Montreal a few minutes early, there's something else that tends to follow me around on my travels, and that is my personal data. Whether you're flying through Toronto or just connecting to airport Wi-Fi, there's a good chance that some of your data is out on the internet. Your name, your email address, your browsing habits, they're all being collected by data brokers. Companies that make money by selling your personal data to marketers, spammers, and who knows who, quite frankly. But that's where Incogni comes in. You see, they reach out to over 230 data brokers on your behalf to get your information removed. And with their new custom removals feature, you can even point them to websites where your data shows up, and they'll take care of the rest. Signing up is ridiculously easy. You just put in a few basic details and Incogni gets to work. They'll keep removing your data and even follow up if it pops up again. You don't have to do a single thing, you just click the button and off they go. Now, I've used Incogni myself and I was genuinely shocked at how much of my old data was out there floating around on the internet. Addresses, phone numbers, even stuff that I've forgotten existed, now it's all gone. So if you were to take back control of your personal info, head to incogni.com/Noel Phillips. Use my code Noel Phillips to get 60% off an annual plan. That's less than the cost of a seat selection on some airlines. Right, back to the airlines, and next up, a completely different vibe. I headed to St John's in Newfoundland to catch a flight with Porter Airlines, Canada's newest airline, a boutique airline with a growing reputation. Let's see how they stack up to Air Canada. Welcome to St John's in Newfoundland, Canada. This is literally about as far north and east as you can get here in North America, at least. Today I'm taking a ride on a really cool airline here in Canada, so join me today because we're going to take a ride on Porter. So Porter are an airline who, for me at least, have kind of sprang up out of nowhere a little bit. They only started sort of 10 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, something like that. And now they're one of the biggest airlines in Canada. I've never flown on them before. Really looking forward to taking a ride with them today because we're going to head up to Halifax in Nova Scotia on one of their E190s. So let's go and get checked in. Hi there, how you doing? Yes.
Yes.
Please, yeah, thank you. To Halifax.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
No check bags, sir?
No, I'm just going to carry on if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, gate 9.
Okay, perfect.
Start boarding at 2:55.
Awesome, thank you.
You're all set. Security's just over to the left.
All right, thank you very much.
Your right.
My right, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. All right, nice and easy, all checked in. Got my blue boarding pass, and now we've got to go and get through security here at St John's. Hi there, how you doing?
Right.
Thank you. Hi there, bonjour, how you doing? Thank you. all through security. This is such a lovely little airport. Everybody's so friendly, even the security staff, just lovely, really nice. So now, I don't know, we're flying with Porter Reserve, which is like their kind of enhanced offering, let's say. I don't know whether it includes lounge access or not, but I don't really want to go to the lounge here. I want to explore the airport and see what's here, so we're going to have a little look around. I mean, there ain't a lot here to do at St John's Airport, but there's a few little shops and stuff. Just grabbed a bag of crisps and a drink while I wait for the plane. For such a small airport, St John's is actually pretty busy. All of the top 3 Canadian airlines fly into here. Air Canada, WestJet and Porter all fly into here from all around Canada and even across the Atlantic. PAL Airlines also fly into St John's. I did fly on them once before over in Montreal, and they're not a bad little airline. Eventually though, my flight turned up, this Embraer E195 belonging to Porter Airlines. Does anybody else think that the E195 looks a little bit like a twin-engine DC-8? Right, so here's my ride across to Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is an Embraer 195E2 operated by Porter. They operate these. They've also got Dash 8s as well. And yeah, it should be nice. Looking forward to seeing what it's like. They got a very good reputation, Porter do, for their onboard service and everything. So we'll see what it's like. We've got about a 2-hour run, I think, tonight up to Halifax from here in St John's. Let's go and get on board. And I wouldn't have too long to find out, because pretty soon they were announcing boarding for my flight down to Halifax. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. You?
Your ID.
Yes. It's pretty interesting that in Canada, even on domestic flights, you have to show ID at the gate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And there you are.
Thanks, have a great day.
Yes, you too.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Welcome on board your flight.
Thank you.
Of course.
In contrast to Air Canada, Porter don't have a separate business class cabin. It's all 2 seats throughout the entire cabin. Porter Reserve has a little bit more legroom and the seats are coloured blue instead of grey. Hi there, welcome on board Porter's Embraer 195E2. This is really nice, there's so much legroom. It's pretty comfy as well, in a 2 all the way through, like most Embraers jets seem to be. And yeah, it's quite nice. The legroom was actually really spacious, even for somebody 6'5" like me, which was pretty cool. I also thought it was really cool that every seat has a 3-pin power outlet too. There's no in-flight entertainment screens in the back of the seats, but there is Wi-Fi with connectivity to view in-flight entertainment through your phone, which for short flights honestly isn't too bad. I did spot Air Saint-Pierre pushing back at the side of us, which did remind me of my little flight across the Atlantic with them last year. Pretty soon though, it was our turn to push back from the gate and get on our way for our flight down to Halifax. The scenery as we climbed out of St John's was absolutely breathtaking. Much like Scotland, on a sunny day, Canada can be truly beautiful, but when the rain comes down, well, it's a whole different matter. My flight to Halifax then took me down the east coast of Canada with a flight time of 1 hour and 33 minutes, cruising at 38,000 feet. Right then, airborne from St John's, heading down to Halifax, Nova Scotia. What an absolutely incredibly beautiful part of the world this is. Just unbelievable. Like, I've seen it so many times flying over it at a high level and it looks incredible, but when you're down low, climbing out of airports, approaching airports and seeing everything up close, just beautiful part of the world. I need to come back here at some point and spend a bit of time here, because it really is a nice place here in Newfoundland and Labrador and all this sort of area. But anyway, we're down to Nova Scotia now, about a 2-hour flight. They've come around taking the drinks orders. Everybody gets free drinks throughout the flight, which is quite nice. Also free Wi-Fi and on-demand entertainment as well, which is pretty cool. We're trying that out as well in a minute as we take our flight down the Canadian coast. Once we left the rugged coast of Newfoundland behind, we climbed into the clouds over eastern Canada and I settled in for the 90-minute hop down to Halifax. Porter's cabin on the E195 is clean, modern and surprisingly spacious. It does feel a little bit basic, especially without the in-flight screens in the back of the seats, but for a short flight like this it was perfectly fine. The drinks were free on this flight. I went for a Coke, and the snack service, well, let's just say it wasn't exactly French toast. banana bread and some nuts, but to be fair, Porter only serves full meals on flights over 2.5 hours. On shorter hops like this, it's more of a snack and a smile situation, although the banana bread was pretty decent. I flipped through the Inflight magazine, which for some reason was absolutely covered in pandas. No idea why, I didn't ask. Soon enough though, we were on approach into Halifax, thick forest in every direction. It felt less like landing at an airport and more like touching down in the middle of a giant centre parks. This flight then came in at $285 and when you factor in the short 90-minute route, it actually worked out more expensive per mile than my Air Canada business class flight. This service wasn't as premium, there's no hot meals, no in-seat screens, and the seats weren't quite as nice as Air Canada's A220. But honestly, what Porter lacks in bells and whistles, it makes up for with charm. The crew were warm and attentive and genuinely seemed happy to be there, which is more than I can say for a lot of legacy carriers. If someone could combine Porter's friendliness and reliability with Air Canada's seats and French toast, well, I'd probably be flying them every time I went to Canada. Alright, welcome to Halifax, Yorkshire, or actually Nova Scotia, I think. Anyway, that was a nice little flight down with Porter. Let's go and get through, see if we can get an Uber or something across to my hotel here in Halifax. Yeah, I tell you what, the weather's a bit nicer here than it was up in St John's. Flipping heck, it's warm, it's like summer. Beautiful clear skies, this is lovely, this is. Awesome, thank you. Have a great one. Hi there, you're right. I've got my room key on here, I think. Am I good to go to my room? Or?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Or do I need to collect another key, or will it be alright?
Would you like physical key?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. What's your room number showing in here?
707.
Are you allergic to gluten, chocolate, and nuts?
I'm not, no. And I will take a cookie if you've got one. Oh, I'll take several then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I knew there was a reason to stop by here.
Do you need a parking, sir?
No parking, no, so I've got an Uber. Yeah.
You have a breakfast complimentary for tomorrow morning.
That's not mine, it was on there, I've just left it on there in case somebody comes for it. It was down here, I thought if I put it on there, then somebody...
So the breakfast starts after 6:30 to 10:30.
6:30 to 10:30, okay, perfect, thank you very much. Alright then, welcome to Halifax, Nova Scotia. I've checked into the Doubletree and I think they've upgraded my room. Wow, look at this. This is the... it's like a living room area. We've got a bedroom through here. And then out here we've got our view out over the harbour of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wow, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I've had an amazing ride down with Porter today. I thought they were actually really good. I don't know if they were quite as much as I expected they would be. People have told me they were an amazing airline, and they were okay. They were pretty decent. Whether they were kind of any better than a lot of other airlines, I don't know. Let me know if you've flown with Porter. Let me know what you think down below. How do you think they compare to Air Canada as well? Anyway, I'm off to get some rest. Try and get some sleep. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Be kind to one another, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.